to decide as much.
The Speaker then adjourned sitting to the original resumption date on January 28.
Meanwhile, both the majority and minority have held press conferences demanding their positions on motion which warranted a recall of members from their vacations. According to the minority, the filing of the motion is just the beginning of their fight to ensure justice prevails in the merchant bank sale saga.
This was to take on both the good bank and the bad bank combined. Fortis was to commit to pursue bad debt book and split any recoveries in the ratio of 70-30 between Senate and SIC. Fortis agreed to allow Senate/SIC to use recoveries to acquire further shares in the bank. Fortis was to present a turnaround strategy to be assessed and approved by the Bank of Ghana. And Fortis was to inject a further 50 million within 6 months after takeover. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clear from the above Senate SIC did not flout any regulation, and there was full transparency in this transaction. And the interest of the working people of Ghana was better served than throwing more workers' contribution into a leaking bank. We wish to state that the transaction was transparently conducted in conformity with all the laws of Ghana and under the supervision of the Bank of Ghana. We have every confidence that the new majority shareholders who have management control will lift Merchant Bank out of its present predicament. We urge those who have access to media platforms to refrain from statements that will undermine the process.
$5 million. That was not even considered at all. At all. And I spoke to the managing director who told me that in September, he met the Director General for SNIT for only 5 minutes. He told him, well, the bank is gone, forget about it, go back to your London. And I'm saying that we needed as Parliament to find out why all these superior bids were rejected for Fortis. And I believe that it is in the interest of the people of Ghana to know. Doris Boame, nobody knows anything about her. We don't know her background. We don't know where she owns 20%. We don't know where her background. We just know she resides in Togo. We don't know anything about her. You think that it is not important? You think that it is not important for us to know the background of all these people who are buying a state asset? We believe it is for Parliament, and it's the duty of Parliament to be able to do that. Tony Lita, who is the lawyer for the president and lawyer for EMP, the brothers company, and lawyer for Fortis, the people who are seeking to buy, has inside knowledge. And in management, it's unethical to have inside knowledge that, well, I'm dealing with Merchant Bank, it's collapsing, go and buy it. Insider trading. Insider trading. It's unethical. That he was dealing with Merchant Bank. He knew the finances of Merchant Bank because he was a lawyer for their highest debtor. Then you will go and be the lawyer for Fortis to go and buy that bank. It is wrong. That insider trading, you can go to jail for it. And we thought Parliament should be able to investigate that.
In other news, government has begun re-registration of vehicles for ministries, departments and agencies. Transport Minister Jafar Tivo announced Monday morning the re-registration, which will be in 4 phases, will span from January to 30th April 2014, and it will cost the country a total of 15 billion Ghana cedis.
The Transport Minister announced the registration is going to be in 4 phases and will cover vehicles of ministries, departments and agencies. The first phase started on January 6 and will end on 21st January. The second phase will span from 28th January to 8th February, and the third phase and the fourth phase will be between 30th March to 30th April. The process, she reiterates, is to ensure that government officials adhere to the President's directive not to use government vehicles after 6 p.m. and also for personal purposes.
The exercise, which will be carried out in all offices of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, that's the DVLA, will involve the following. A. Issuance of a new number plate with green background. B. The number of vehicle in white letters embossed on the plate, which include 1, a GV prefix identify that the vehicle belongs to government. 2, the year of registration of the vehicle as suffix. 3, a code identify the ministry, department, and agency that the vehicle belongs. 4, a code identifying regional coordinating councils, metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies to which the vehicle belongs.
She also announced government is expecting about 15,000 new vehicles that will be registered. The entire re-registration process, which will involve manufacturing of number plates, documentation of each vehicle particulars, and others, will cost the country 1.5 billion Ghana cedis.
This re-registration exercise is one of a number of regulatory measures government has decided to implement to promote the efficient and economic use of government vehicles. Other measures include the allocation of official vehicles and use of fuel, maintenance of vehicle access register, and preparation and implementation of appropriate internal policies and procedures to regulate the use of all government and project vehicles.
According to the DVLA, every ministry has a code and can be identified by that code, which will be inscribed on its number plate. Office of Government, for instance, has a code 01. Under that 01 are the various departments and agencies which are also coded, so that, for instance, under the Office of Government Machinery, which is 01, one of its departments, Office of the President, has the code 1, and then it will be followed by the number plate. But it should be noted that each of the government vehicle numbers are prefixed with GV.
In place to re-register these vehicles, we are looking at only 5 ministries. And as per experience, registration peaks from the 2nd of January and dips by the 15th of January, by which time we'll be in a position to take over this other project from government. So we know the pressure on us, and as a reason, out of the 25 ministries, we are looking at beginning with 5 ministries for now. That will ensure that the capacity we have currently in our offices accommodates this 5.
Coordinator of the Government Vehicle Re-registration Project, Vincent Kwagbenu, added the process is very necessary. Atani, Joy News.
The former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Professor Emmanuel Mensah, has called on government to develop a policy framework on ICT-based educational system in Ghana. According to him, an ICT-driven education has the potential of addressing the huge educational gap in the country. He was speaking at the opening of the 65th annual year school in Accra.
Professor Jofus Anamwa Mensah expressed worry at the alarming rate of poor access to tertiary education in the country. According to him, only 4.1% of the population has access to post-secondary education. A challenge, he said, government must address by not only putting up structures, but considering an ICT-based educational system for Ghana.
Educators and policymakers must turn to new technologies, including e-learning and online learning, for solutions. There is no other practical alternative unless we want to keep, for example, the over 90% of the people from entering the promised land of knowledge, innovation, and opportunities. The relentless advances in information and communication technologies and its attendant globalization are transforming all areas of human endeavor, including job profiles and skills required in the marketplace, and improved learning and management in the educational system.
He added the introduction of open education, which is ICT-based, could go a long way in achieving Ghana's Millennium Development Goals.
Investment in ICT-driven education will lead to world-class education, not only for an elite group, but for a greater number of people. It is my hope that the government will invest heavily in this venture by ensuring that all institutions and learning centers are wired by 2025. That support is given for developing the capacity of academic staff in institutions to be able to integrate technology in instruction, to create open educational resources, and to adapt open educational resources developed by others.
Minister for Education Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman noted that government recognized the role of ICT and is poised to ensure that education is driven by it.
Clearly, the modes of knowledge acquisition cannot remain the same, and this is why I welcome your theme. Government should be obliged to receive from this New Year school the specific interventions in education that the ICT is expected to resolve. During the next 4 years, we will be very interested in how you come up with suggestions to address challenges of efficiency, the changing roles of the teacher, challenges of cost, the desired results, especially as we reach many people who will learn via distance. We need to empower our students, especially in the universities and polytechnics, also to develop open source software application suited for our local context to be deployed at all levels of our education system, from primary to the tertiary and beyond.
The annual New Year School and Conference is a national program held by the Institute of Continuing and Distance Education of the University of Ghana. This is the 5th edition themed Information Communication Technology will examine the challenges and prospects of ICT in education. Matilda Pamaga for Joy News.
5,000 Ghana cedis to President John Mahama will... Well, we're sorry, we're having some difficulty with our prompter for the morning. And, well, the news now, as it continues, President of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Seth Ejeba, has described the move by the central bank to allow banks pay up to 5,000 Ghana cedis to third parties who present checks to them from the 10,000 Ghana cedis paid earlier as a panic situation and unwarranted. He said the directive would not address any difficulties in the banking sector and is therefore asking the Bank of Ghana to find real solutions to their challenges.
Ghana has recently cut down the third-party payment of checks from 10,000 to 5,000. I want to know, for the business community, how does this come across to you?
I look at it as a panic situation. It doesn't address any issue. The only thing is that if I'm the owner of the business, I'm sitting here, it has to take me some few hours to go to the bank. And of course, the big people go to the bank, they don't queue. So it's the same withdrawal. So what is the difference? If I give you a check of 5,000 and I take 30 minutes to drive to the bank and collect 100,000, what is the difference? It's just a matter of buying some time. Let's find rare solutions. We know we have problems. Let's sit down together, address them, and move on. Because these are panic situations, trying to do something to shake the system, to wait to buy some time. We all buy some time as business people. So I think this, yes, is buying some time, but it doesn't address any issue.
For the bank, they are using this to address fraudulent activities in the banking industry.
It's a matter of trying to encourage checking system, where the checks is given to you, you put it into your accounts 2 or 3 days so that we reduce cash transactions. That is what they are trying to do. It's nothing about fraudulent. We should do things right. Ghana has so much resources, a lot of resources, that we don't even need foreign aid if we manage it well. And because we had a lot of challenges, foreign direct inflows did not come that much. Donor countries, they don't release money on time that much. So there's a lot of pressure. That is why a lot of bills have not been paid. Common fund and other things have not been paid. As of today, third quarter is not paid, fourth quarter is over and other things. So there's really pressure on government. Contractors are complaining and other things. We are aware there is a challenge. They should find permanent solutions.
Well, that will be it for the news for the morning. A recap of our top stories. And President John Mahama will today interact with the media at the Flagstaff House in Accra as part of activities to mark his first year in office.
And this is the fifth year co-op is in Accra with a call on government to develop a policy framework on an ICT-based educational system in the country.
So we will give you a lot more, but that's it for the news this morning. Please get interactive. We have the social network pages. On Facebook, it is Join News on TV, and a short code 7060 for you to get interactive.
You stay on, me right back.
Well, so we're ready to give you some fixtures that we already have for the period and some sports stories. And so we go to the page for the news portal, GhanaWeb.com, and on its sports page, it says Kufuor regrets a trophyless career with Ghana. And official Jordan Ayew has made his switch from Olympic Marseille in a loan move, and Jordan Ayew is said to have completed his loan move from Marseille to Sochaux, and the club already have confirmed that. Jordan Ayew has also completed his loan move and is expected to feature very soon for the club, and you can see him in the picture there. Up there we have some various updates, and Ghana cycling president elected to UCI arbitral body, 4,000 World Cup tickets for fans, and we're being told that the sale will end by February 28, and so the ending of February will cap the sale of the World Cup ticket. And so everybody who wants to go to the World Cup, please try and make sure that you get those tickets before the end of February. And the rumor currently somehow confirmed across the media space, but not officially, is that Samuel Nkum has joined a Greek club, and Liado says that he is the answer to the defense for Ghana, because he feels that he can play very well against Ronaldo during the World Cup. Already there's a story that says that Kofi Nti, who is the chief executive of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, is defending Kotoko players in Chan squad because we have a number of those players from Kotoko, but also very logical because they've been the Premier League champions over the last 2 seasons. And as PRO says, Polo has not been impressive, and that has been attributed by the sports page of GhanaWeb.com to Mohamed Polo. And Kufuor regrets over trophyless Ghana career, and GNPC has already promised big packages for the Black Stars if they do well in South Africa, and local stars already eyeing the land of South Africa to contest or to be part of that very competition, the Championship of African Nations. And ACN, according to the rumor currently, it's a transfer season, and so you can have anything on the news wires. It says Michael Essien is likely to join Asamoah Gyan in Al Ain in the United Arab Emirates. Let's look at a foreign page before we wrap up for sports. Tio Walcott is said to be injured, and according to the news from the evening of Monday, he is expected to be out for close to 6 months, and so he is going to miss England's World Cup in Brazil. Other stories we have Michael Schumacher, the former Formula 1 champion, is said to be stable but in a critical condition. Brazil badly prepared, says Blatter, concerning preparations for the World Cup. And then Blatter again should be worried because once a FIFA president and they are the main organizers of the event, they should be worried. And Russia ramps up Sochi security because we know a Winter Olympics is set to be hosted by Russia, and so we're likely to have the preparations already underway, and it's all set for that very tournament, the Winter Olympics in Russia. And so those are the stories we have on GhanaWeb.com and BBC.com/sports. And so those are the stories we have for you by way of just picking from the various news portals for sports this morning. Meanwhile, the Ghana Football Association has announced February 4 for the application of tickets for the Brazil World Cup in June, and he was addressing a press conference in Accra as with his vice president, that is Fred Krenzel, who asked supporters interested in traveling to Brazil to complete the application form on the set date and make payments before February 28. And so that'll be it for sport. It's brought to you by Tigo. Tigo says you should smile. Smile, you've got Tigo.